Number 6. Luffy vs. Gecko Moria. Luffy vs. Gecko Moria is a fight that not many fans are too fond of. This is a fight that followed the great battle against the CP9 in Enies lobby, and, by any metric, that was a tough act to follow. That said, the thematic value that this fight carried was immense. Luffy, as always, was at the center of it, and this fight hammered home the fact that Luffy's spirit is unbreakable. Luffy is, in some ways, the one who is going to overturn the world in this great age of piracy. He does this by never giving up and always getting back up. Despite Moria trying to crush him several times, Luffy, being rubber, gets back up every single time. Number 5. Luffy vs. Arlong. Luffy vs. Arlong is, quite possibly, the most important fight in the early part of the story. While this is certainly not the most dangerous one that he took part in, it is the most important because this fight carries a lot of weight. After all, Arlong was someone who traumatized Nami throughout her childhood. Gathering all her courage, she asked Luffy for help, and he was certainly not going to abandon someone he considers a friend. Friendship is a massive theme in One Piece, and the Straw Hat Pirates are a found family. After all, there was absolutely no way that Luffy would lose this fight against Arlong, and it set the precedent for Luffy to help all of his friends in need, which he has continued to live by to this day. Eneru. In order to rescue a single member of the crew, Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates took up arms against the entirety of the world government, which happened to have 170 countries, if not more, under their flag. Yet, Luffy did not hesitate at ordering Usopp to burn down the flag of the government. Luffy and the crew made an enemy out of the entirety of the government that day, all for a single member of the crew. The fight against CP9 was one that lived up to expectations, both combat-wise and depth-wise as well. The combat in these fights was nothing short of spectacular, and, at the same time, the fight against the world government was just a small show of what's to come later on in the story, when the crew actually challenges the world government and removes it from power. Number 1. Luffy vs. Eneru. It is no surprise to see Luffy dominating the list of fights with great thematic value in One Piece, as he is the main character. After all, he is supposed to get the most important fights, and his clash against Enel is similar. Enel was thought to be the god of Skypiea, and Luffy was the only one who could oppose him. As Nami put it, to Enel, Luffy was God's natural enemy. Curiously, this is also what the people of D have been referred to by celestial dragons all along. Luffy is the one who is going to remove them from power, as he is their natural enemy. Back then, fans knew little about how important the theme of this fight would be later on. However, as the story unraveled its many mysteries, the thematic value of this fight has only grown.